a full-on trailer to the Selena series dropped today. Well, yesterday, technically, but let's just pretend this is the day the trailer dropped. I'm still awake, so this is the day the trailer dropped. Anyway, I didn't even know about it until some people made some comments on some of my videos asking if I was going to do a reaction to it. And at first I thought they were referring to the one from before, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks before. And then I checked into it further and saw that an actual trailer has arrived finally. I don't know if they're going to do another one. They might, because we're still a bit out from the premiere of the series, which is more than a month away. So we may see another trailer eventually, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what they've got to show us right now. So I'm going to go ahead and press play.
Selena. If we go out there and give it everything that we've got, we can make this happen. Now or never.
That's why I'm living it up to you.
It's about love. How you had it and then you lost it.
It feels like there's a fist around your heart.
Well, I don't want that.
If you stand around and wait for what you want, you're going to be waiting your whole life. You have to go and get it.
Are you guys ready to stop? Baila esta cumbia un ritmo, ritmo sin igual. Nadie se quede sentado.
On the road with
her hair.
Dinos.
The traveling, the hot, the cold. She needs a break, Abraham. Can't like him.
I mean it, that would freak out.
You don't want to be called difficult
Lots of bands are difficult, some impossible. They still get records made.
because they sell records.
We might really need a different drummer.
There's no Beatles without Ringo. And there's no Selena without Suzanne.
All I wanted was a song good enough.
So write a song.
This is really nice.
Ay, cómo me duele, como la voz, con tanto amor, me diste tú.
When I think about being on stage, and you on the bass and Suzette on the drums, nothing else matters.
Selena.
Y los Dinos.
So we're going to get a lot of her early life, which I knew already. That's no surprise. But it was just, I was just sitting here taking it in, all the different scenes from, I mean, it was mixed in with the time when she kind of like, I don't want to necessarily say her signature look at the end, because she had all sorts of different looks. She had the short curly hair. She had the short hair about to here. She had the long hair. So, but I think the one that probably many people associate with her, the look, is the one with the long hair, because it was, she had longer hair in some of her albums, a lot of her pictures with the long hair. She also would put her hair back up in a tight bun, like it showed her in one of the scenes here. I recognize the costumes that it has her in, because I've seen so many of her performances, and whether singing performances or just interviews, and she had that's the type of clothes that she wore. The one that looks like it's white with black spots. It looks like like a cow's hide, I guess. I don't know. That's just what it reminds me of when I see it, like a spotted cow. Not that she was a cow, but her the pattern on her clothes. It always reminded me of that. I don't know why. And so this was, I mean, I'm impatient to see this whole thing. I really am. And I don't know yet how, so Christian, the girl who's playing her, she, maybe I need to go back and watch it again, but she doesn't sound sufficiently Texan. Selena was very Southern sounding, you guys. I mean, she had a real Texas twang to her voice when she talked. It was so adorable. But I mean, it was just funny because when I was introduced to her, as far as who she was, all I ever saw of her was singing in Spanish. Then when she one time somewhere, I think it was after she died, I saw a video of her speaking in English, and it shocked me, not because she was speaking in English, but because of how Southern she sounded. And it did not fit with what I had heard her singing before, which was in Spanish. I can't remember if I saw her speaking in Spanish before she died, because I think there was maybe, I have one clear memory of seeing her perform at some sort of show or festival or something. She was in a black dress. I think it was maybe mid-thigh or to her knees or something like that. And I thought it was the December before she died. I think it was in December of 94. I might be wrong about, the exact month, but it wasn't terribly long before she passed away. My husband had heard her I think he was making a trip to or from Mexico, and he'd heard her on the radio, Como la Flor. That was the first time he'd been aware of her, and he told me about her, and I hadn't seen her yet. But then when we were watching some show at my grandma's house, and she came on there, and he said, "Oh, that's the girl that sings that song I was telling you about." So that was my first actual exposure to her from what I can remember, besides my husband telling me about her. And then a few months later, she died. He was actually in Mexico when she died, and he heard about it on the radio in some store or something. And then I heard about it on the way home from work. I was listening to Spanish radio to try to brush up on my Spanish comprehension skills. I've mentioned this before in another video, but it was the news hour or whatever, and they were doing a recap of the news, and I just heard very quickly, Spanish is a very fast language, and I just caught Selena murió, and I thought they were referring to Carlos Salinas, the previous Mexico president of Mexico. I thought he'd been killed, because Mexico for a long time, they've just had a lot of trouble with corruption and a lot of people being killed. And he had some shady stuff going on with his administration, corruption and stuff like that. And I thought maybe he'd been killed. That's what I thought had happened. So I was like, holy cow. And I switched the channel to the English station, and right as I switched it, they were also doing the news stuff, and they mentioned that Selena, a popular Tejano music singer, had been killed, and that's when it clicked who had died, that it wasn't Carlos Salinas de Gortari, I think that's his name. It was Selena, the singer that I had known of. And then after I bought her, I was buying her albums after she died, and I bought, maybe it was Entre a mi Mundo, and there was an English song on there. I think that was the album it was on, and it was called Missing My Baby. And when I listened to that song, I flashed back to a memory from a little time before then, maybe a year or so or two, I can't remember. I remember hearing that song on the radio, and they had introduced her as Selena. The name stood out to me. I'd completely blanked it from my memory. And I think they mentioned she was new. She was a new artist. And they played the song. And I remembered that the song, it was okay. I remembered noticing that the singer had a really good voice. But the song wasn't anything super grabby or deep or anything like that. I just remember it because I remember her voice. And I remember the name. But other than that, it wasn't a huge impact on me, because the song's kind of basic. It's pretty simple, and it's not really profound. To me, it wasn't profound. It was just kind of like a soft pop type song, And then after I heard that song, after I bought the album, after she died, I heard that song and that triggered the memory. And I remembered that I remember the road that I was on. I remember the road I was on when I got the news that she died. And I remember the road I was on when I heard the song even before I knew who she was or anything like that. It's kind of weird how your memory will do stuff like that. I say the song wasn't all that impactful, and it really wasn't so much. It must have been her performance and the name, because it was different. The name was different. I'd never heard that name before. And so anyway, all these thoughts are coming to me as I'm watching this, and it's really crazy that it feels like it still feels so fresh, what happened to her. And it's been 25 plus years, you guys. That's crazy. So crazy. So sad. And I like to see stuff about her. I like to read stuff about her. I bought the book her husband wrote. And I started reading it, but I never finished. And part of it is because it just actually still makes me really sad to read stuff about her. Sad to watch stuff about her too, but it's kind of weird because it sort of ebbs and flows with watching stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. She had a profound effect on a lot of people. And I thought that I saw an article or some sort of headlines that was going around. One of my friends on Facebook posted it or shared it or something. And I think it was something to the effect that she is actually the top selling Latin artist of all time, or either the top selling female Latin artist of all time. I can't remember the specifics, but I believe it because her stuff was really good. Oh my gosh, dog hair all over me. Gee whiz. Sorry. Her stuff was really good. Her talent was just amazing, and she was a very special person. And she's still missed by a lot of people, as you can tell. And I'm looking forward to this, as I've already said, and I hope that it shows us more people, a bigger glimpse of Selena than what probably a lot of people who only know her in passing are aware of. She had a pretty interesting life, and she lived a lot and did a lot in her 23 years that she was around. She was almost 24 when she died. She would have turned 24 a few weeks after she passed away, because I think she was born on April 17th or April 16th or something like that, mid-April, I think. And I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, her wedding anniversary was shortly after she passed away too. I have to refresh my memory on that, but I thought it was, I might be completely wrong about that. I might be thinking about her funeral. Anyway, I don't know. I need to go look that up because it's been a while since I've read that trivia. But so yeah, the trailer was decently done as far as I'm concerned. It was a little bit more than 2 minutes, 2 minutes 12 seconds to get to this point right here. So obviously it actually ended a little bit before that, like 2 minutes and 7 seconds to get to the Selena screen at the very end there. So yeah, I thought it flowed well. We get a glimpse of Selena in the different stages of her life, and also get a glimpse of the conflict that occurred in her life. There, you know, she didn't have. It wasn't that she had it bad and that things were terrible and awful. But you know, like any family, conflict, arguments, you know, the back and forth and the struggle and everything. And we're gonna get to see a bit of that. So. Okay, well, I don't have anything else, you guys, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I've got a short horror film that I want to go check out before it gets too late. Yeah. All right, you guys. Hasta luego.